Hi there. So as much as I tried, the video and the audio of this week's energy update just would not come together. So I'm putting up all of the charts for the week. So the audio came out really great. The video doesn't match it. I don't want to give you guys that because it looks really like bad Asian subtitle. Like it did not, like the dubbing just didn't look good. So short video to let you know that that's why this week's energy update looks a little different. I hope you guys enjoy the video, even though it is not what you would normally see with me there. I'm grateful for all of you showing up, and have a great week. Bye. Hi, welcome to the energy update for Saturday, February 19th to Friday, February 25th. Like we talked about in the last video that I did, we are bringing more content onto the channel. We're bringing new creators and more content onto the channel. And so my astrology weekly energy update is being shifted, which I think is actually kind of nice because we get to start talking about the weekend energy. We get to start talking about automatically the weekend energy. So we're going to do that. And yeah, this is going to be a week where there's a lot of creative energy going on. As you can tell, I'm kind of hoarse. I actually sound a lot worse than I feel. So, I mean, there are times where I kind of feel a little cruddy, but for the most part, I actually don't feel that bad today. So I know that some of you are going to tell me to take care of myself, and I am. That's why I have the scarf around my throat, and I'm making sure to drink warm liquids that are helping it as well. So, and I sound a lot better than I did yesterday. But yeah, so this week is really cool because we get this energy of creativity and manifestation. It's really, Pisces season just started today. The sun is now in Pisces, and Pisces season is full of a lot of magic. It's going to be full of a lot of illusion and a lot of fantasy-driven life kind of things as well. So you sort of need to make sure that you know who you are during this Pisces season. It's going to be a very interesting, but very magical time at the same time. If you have a grasp on who you are, if you have a grasp on what it is that you want in life and what it is that you're doing with your life, then this Pisces season is actually going to be really fun because you've got a lot of energy to work with, manifesting with intent and creating some pretty cool stuff. I would not be, because it's going to feel very much like a Renaissance kind of time with the Sun, Jupiter, and Neptune all in Pisces, and we'll have the Pisces new moon that first week of March. A lot of people are kind of cringing at that, and it's really going to be kind of an amazing magical time. And it's also with Mercury conjunct Saturn during that Pisces new moon, is really helping us for long-term gains. And it's like a community-driven effort. And that's the thing, is if there are wars that are going to start breaking out all over the earth, all over the world, if there's this war that's going to happen, this is that time where we're all going to be singing "Give Peace a Chance" again, like that's what I mean by this Renaissance, if you will. This is that enlightenment, that spiritual leveling up. A lot of people are going to start realizing that there's so much BS that happens in the quote-unquote real world or the matrix that you really, really have to build from a place of your own, your own security within, right? And not from the structures that the world told you. And it's really funny because a lot of people think that the spiritual journey is what they're searching for. And what they're actually searching for is an awareness. What they're searching for is they want to know more about themselves. They want to know more about the world around them. They want to know more about what energy is. They want to know, it's not about becoming enlightened. Becoming enlightened is a thing that happens along the way. That's not the destination. And Pisces season is really going to be kind of that, those extremes, like there are going to be some people that really go to a big extreme when it comes to spirituality. There's going to be a lot more scamming that's going to be happening. Even with the censoring that's also happening, right? And that's how the real world is trying to stop the speech, is trying to stop the freedom of speech, is trying to stop being the production of things to help you open up your mind and to create that evolution inside of yourself and not just the evolution in the world. But yeah, so this is a really interesting week of a lot of great creative energies. There's a lot of opportunities to be able to heal under these creative energies as well. This is a week where you're not going to have the your physical energy isn't going to be as strong. Let's look at these transits really quick. So we have, just starting with Saturday, the Libra moon will be forming a yod, which is, they call it the finger of God, with Uranus and Jupiter, and we'll talk about that. I'm going to show you the chart for that. Sunday, the Libra moon will be trine Saturn. And this is really creating opportunities for us to, and it's that balance of life that, that we're all trying to find the balance with the relationships. But, remember that with Libra, Venus isn't just about the relationship side of things. Venus is about the justice side of things as well. And there's a lot of injustices that are happening in the world right now, and this Libra moon yod to Uranus and Jupiter are, creating forces that we can't see with our eyeballs, with our human eyeballs, that's shifting the plane of existence that we're on right now. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that, that the wars are breaking out, and you're seeing how the imbalance of things will ultimately begin to create a balance of things. But if you look back on history, I don't know how familiar everybody is about history repeating itself, but in the 70s, we were in the Vietnam War, and everybody was singing "Give Peace a Chance," and everybody started taking more psychedelic drugs, and everybody started doing all of that, and Aries was in Chiron at the time. That is how everybody found their inner warrior then, was to, go on these trips, these fantastical trips. And I don't even know the research of the Renaissance, but I'm pretty sure that they were doing drugs back then too. There's absolutely no way that William Shakespeare wrote all of that stuff while he was sober or just drinking mead. I'm sorry. That kind of mind that okay. There's a lot of incest and underage relationships and suicide and all. He was just really on something for sure. But anyway, so times they are a changing. We'll just, say it that way. And the seasons are shifting. And, I don't like to talk about the politics of the world. And so I'm going to kind of leave it at that. But there are definitely real world shifts that are happening. And so staying really, really grounded in your own world is going to help you remain sane during all of the very real world shifts. So then we have the Scorpio moon will trine the Pisces sun on Monday, which I absolutely love that kind of energy. It's a really great manifestation energy. Really, really watery. People could be extra, extra emotional under that kind of influence. So be very careful. The Scorpio moon is somebody who's very deep and that doesn't Like, I think the Scorpio moon has more of a Scorpio personality than a Scorpio sun does, because the Scorpio moon is somebody that does not like to readily show how they're feeling unless they absolutely trust you. And they will talk about their emotions and be an openly vulnerable person if they trust who you are, and if they trust that they can trust their emotions with you. They feel like they're going to be gaslighted or made fun of or something like that in any way, shape, or form. You're never going to see how they're feeling. I promise you that. Tuesday, that moon in Scorpio will square Saturn, so things will get a little bit more jagged energy, if you will. On Tuesday, the moon will also trine Jupiter and Neptune, so there's some more kind of like fantastical, magical energy, and the moon will conjoin the South Node that is also in Scorpio. And so, and with the South Node, it's about the past, right? So you could be finding things I actually recognized many, a couple years ago before I finally got my boundaries pretty good with these people. But I recognized that old lovers would come back from the past when the moon would hit the South Node, especially when the South Node was in Capricorn, because it was my fourth house. So it would always feel like, people people from the past that would bring comfort to me, or people from my childhood would show up. So that's even a thing. That could even be a thing too. So be careful. Watch for that kind of thing. Be discerning. Wednesday, Mercury's coming out of shadow. Sagittarius moon square Pisces sun. That's going to be a nice creative aspect, along with the Mars sextile Neptune and Mercury sextile Chiron. We're going to talk deeper about the Mars sextile Neptune and the Venus sextile Neptune that's happening on Thursday with that Sagittarius moon. So much creative energy out of that. And Mercury out of shadow. Venus will be out of shadow on the 28th of February. So really, it's kind of like all systems go. Like, those things that you've been waiting on doing, those things that you have really feeling stuck or blocked on, this week is really opening up a lot of creative energy to get things going. Thursday, the moon in Sagittarius will square Jupiter and Neptune, Venus sextile Neptune, Mercury square Uranus. So Mercury was square Uranus two other times during this retrograde, and this is that last time. And so our mentals are going to be very stimulated towards the end of the work week. And then Friday, it'll be very interesting to see how the moon phase happens, because in the morning, the moon will be in Sagittarius, but it'll be void for a couple hours, and then will ingress to Capricorn and it will still be void. The moon will not be making an aspect to a planet until that evening when it makes a sextile to the Pisces sun. So the moon all day, basically on Friday, is not making an aspect to a planet. So some of us may be finding that like next Friday is going to be that day to relax. We'll talk a little bit more as we get there, but I wanted to show those to you first. Let's look at Saturday at that yod. Oops. Did you guys want to see me, or did you just want to see? Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. That was pretty funny. All right. So we have the Libra moon at 11 degrees, and it's actually just opposite Chiron as well. So this is really going to be a big healing element for the world. Like, this is like, but at the same time, this is a very like standing up for oneself. So this is happening on Saturday, tomorrow. And it'll be later on in the evening, but the effects are going to hold on for, the effects are going to be there, and we've already been kind of seeing people standing up for themselves. So we have an opposition to Chiron with the moon, and we also have this so a yod is in two in conjunct planets with a focal planet, right? So two 180-degree in conjunct, and then there's a focal planet. Here the focal planet is the moon, and with the focal planet, that's where the energy of the other planets are kind of getting, and so there's this emotional aspect of justice that we want to see in the world. There could also be some really interesting weather patterns that are happening right now. This Uranus in Taurus has not failed us on showing us how funky weather can be. Like we just got dumped like maybe 1.5 feet of snow here in Kansas City. And this week, tomorrow on Saturday, it's supposed to be 60 degrees. Yeah. So that could be a thing as well. But this is really opening all of us to give peace a chance. There's a lot of positive with Jupiter and Uranus at the sextile here working together. There's a lot of positive healing that could really come out of this weekend in your personal relationships, in the relationship that you have with yourself, in the relationship that you have with even your work life, anything that you need to balance out in your life. There can be a lot of positive shifts and positive changes with this yod that is happening on Saturday. Okay. Sunday, the moon in Libra will be trine Saturn. And so the work that we're doing to balance ourselves out really can come back tenfold. So along with that yod shifts and changes that are happening, some of those shifts and changes are showing you where your life is out of balance or where you need to really be showing up for yourself a little bit more. Remember that we're still under the Jupiter sextile Uranus because that's where that yod is coming from. And so our mental capacity has been on overdrive, and because Uranus is that spark, right? And Uranus works a lot with, it's Aquarius energy, and Aquarius is a very mental energy. So if you've been needing to take some time off from overthinking, probably over the weekend might be a really good time for you to allow yourself to do that, is to kind of take some time off and reevaluate the relationship that you have with some of the things in your life so that you're not overtaxing your energy. So Monday, when we start what people would normally call it the quote unquote work week, I only say that because I haven't had a work week in many years. So, sometimes I forget what day it is altogether. If I don't have any appointments set or anything that day, I just forget what day it is altogether. Moon in Scorpio will be trying the sun in Pisces, and this is really putting us in a depth for our emotions. Will also be square Mercury. So a lot of really cool writing could come out of this if any of you are writers out there. Maybe even starting a journaling practice could really help. But whatever it is that you do for yourself in order to express and release emotions, because that watery energy with the moon in Scorpio trine the sun in Pisces, it can be really great manifesting energy. But if you are swimming in the depths of it and you feel like you're drowning, you don't want to manifest there. That's not the intention that we want to manifest from. So whichever way that this shows up for you, if you need a little bit more self-care and you feel like you're kind of drowning in the depths of what the moon in Scorpio is doing, let it happen. Just let yourself. I think that's one of the things that astrology teaches us the most is, sometimes it's not about what the Gregorian calendar says. Sometimes it's about what the astrology is telling us that we, should allow ourselves to relax. I never tell anybody to stop their lives on any kind of astrology thing, but planning your life around certain astrology stuff. And we are ruled by the moon. I mean, plain and simple. We are, us as humans, especially, we all have that feminine energy that runs through us and ruled by the moon. So find really good, resourceful ways to, during this Pisces season and, to allow those emotions to flow. Because if you are not allowing those emotions to flow, they could come out in other ways, projections, triggering, anger, stuff like that. So Pisces season is probably going to be a big season for everybody to learn how to feel, and like in an honest way, in a very honest way. Tuesday, the 22nd, we have the moon in Scorpio squaring Saturn, trine Jupiter and Neptune, and the moon will also conjunct the south node. So the Scorpio moon is going to be very busy on Tuesday. There's a lot of healing work that's going to be done under the Scorpio moon conjunct that south node. A lot of, some past behaviors from the past may come up depending on wherever that south node is in your chart. Past, like the toxic negative traits and behaviors that you've had in the past could really show up during this time. So there's a lot of old wounds and healing that's happening, but a lot of manifestations and power within that if you can allow yourself to get through the healing aspects of that. And be vulnerable. That's really a lot of what this week is asking us to do, is be a little bit more vulnerable with ourselves and others. And when we can't be vulnerable, and that's all our soul wants us to be, is vulnerable, that's when it gets hard. That's when it gets depressing. That's when it gets like we feel like we can't breathe. So Wednesday, the 23rd, Mercury is out of shadow period. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. I think we say this every single time, but man, that Mercury retrograde really, it did me in. I don't even remember most of it because I was in such excruciating pain. Wednesday, we have the moon in Sagittarius making a square to the Pisces sun. And this is a lot of creative power that can come from you questioning yourself. It's funny when we don't question the ways that we do our own things. By questioning our own selves, we get to expand and open ourselves up to more opportunities and more possibilities and more things. But when we don't question ourselves, and as a Virgo sun that is square her Sagittarius moon, I have learned that the only way for me to expand is if I question my own beliefs. If I question the things that I'm doing on a daily basis to make sure that they're still resonating with me. So that is a very powerful square that can really, having you question yourself, but having you question yourself in all the best ways so that you can open yourself up and expand all that Jupiterian energy. And we have Mars sextile Neptune on Wednesday exact. And so the demands of the ego are going to be more quiet. We'll become a little bit more sensitive with ourselves and others. You may feel greatly that you want to be of assistance to other people at this time. This is a good time to retreat by yourself as well if you need to meditate. But the best thing about this, even though Mars is involved, is you won't really feel much of an urgency to get things done. This may actually have you, and beginning even this weekend all the way to next weekend, because Mars moves very slowly. So we'll be feeling this Mars sextile Neptune for a few days, but you just may feel exhausted, and it may be a time for you to relax. It may be a time for you to indulge in self-care. And self-care is not the things that we do on a daily basis to just take care of ourselves. That is the bare minimum. Self-care is when we go above and beyond to make sure that we are saying, I love you, let me show you. If you would tell your significant other or a child or someone that you love to relax and take some time off, but you won't tell yourself that, there's a problem with that. You see? So this is going to be that opportunity. So if you want to retreat, you can. If you haven't planned taking a vacation from work this week, you may want to think about that, like midweek, maybe taking some time off. This is also going to be a really good time to study the occult, because demanding egos are detrimental in those kind of disciplines. So you really, I mean, there's a lot of astrologers out there that do have bigger egos than they often should, I think, because astrology should be very non-judgmental. In my personal opinion, I am not everybody, so I'll just stay out of that. But it's hard to have an ego when you're reading the tarot cards, and it's hard to have an ego when you're teaching meditations and mindfulness, and it's hard to have an ego for all of that stuff. So if you've been wanting to learn esoteric knowledge, you know, really metaphysical things and all of that, crystal knowledge, Reiki knowledge, this would be a really great time for you to do that, especially as Jupiter is in Pisces. But during Pisces season altogether, but this week would be a good one for you to learn. The insights you gain now may alter any goals or plans that you like already have ongoing. So like if you originally had a plan to do something and the universe decides, oh, I'm going to shift it this way, this is kind of that week that you really need to go with the flow on that. Mercury sextile Chiron, it has us all working through our healing process. And the more we allow ourselves to work through our healing process, whether that is through talking or journaling or spending isolated time with ourselves, you know, whatever it is, we're going to greatly benefit from that. The more we allow ourselves to take accountability and be honest about the healing that we still need to accomplish, there's a lot that we can obtain from that during this time. Any kind of shadow work will feel more like a blessing than a daunting task, because you actually see the benefits of what that shadow work is doing for you. Thursday, the 24th, the moon in Sagittarius will be square Jupiter and square Neptune, both in Pisces. This is going to be sparking a lot of optimism and also creativity. We also have Venus sextile Neptune exact, but Venus and Mars are conjunct, so they're all sort of working together. This is going to be arousing the creative and romantic imagination, giving you a greater appreciation for sensitivity to beauty. Whatever it is that beauty is for you, you're going to want to have that around you. And you're going to be seeing things in a different kind of way, where once maybe you didn't think something was so beautiful about it, you'll start to see different things that might be a little bit, you know, softer or prettier to you about it. You may have a tendency to drift into daydreams or fantasies. This may be a day to surround yourself in what you see as beautiful, whether it's in relationships or elsewhere. It's kind of like allowing yourself to indulge in the daydreams. You know, too often we get lost in work and we don't get lost in the imagination. We don't get lost in the heart. And that's what sparks the joy. You know, there's, I've had to talk to a couple of people who have just so much lost their joy. And I have been that person. I've been there. I've been to like the depths of this, you know, being sad enough to have lost my joy. And it's not fun at all. So these are those times in your life where you can choose to get lost in the depths of those dark places, or you can allow yourself to find some joy. People can absolutely fall into a depression during this time, because this is a very soul calling time. And if we are not heeding the call of our soul on a daily basis, we feel miserable. We feel miserable about the things that we're doing. We feel miserable about the, you know, places that we're putting energy towards. And when we start putting energy towards the things that bring us joy, we start putting energy towards the things that call to us, you know, that warm us up in the heart space and create that abundance feeling. When we allow ourselves to do that, the depression sort of fades away, the sadness sort of fades away. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor, so if you have severe depression, please continue to see your doctor, please continue to see your therapist. I would never tell anybody to stop doing that. But I want you to also ask yourself, while in the process of seeking therapy elsewhere, I want you to ask yourself the things that you could change in your life. If responsibilities and money weren't the things that you were grasping for, what would you do? What would you do with your life if it wasn't based on you having responsibilities or you having money? Because a lot of times we wrap our lives around those two things and we don't enjoy getting there. We don't enjoy the process, right? We just focus on how to get to the money and get to the success and get to the responsibility part, right? And the more responsibility we have, the more morality or whatever, social morality that we have or whatever. So this is a time to allow you to get in touch with your heart space. And if you are having a difficult, dark time with your heart space, this is a time for you to heal that. Be careful of putting others before you. Relationships can be a little bit tricky during this because you don't want to get into an illusion, especially because Mars and Venus are still conjunct. Easily there can be a lot of physical connections that are made, thinking that there's something stronger, and then the whole twin flame thing starts getting thrown around, and you'll just drive yourself crazy with all of that shit. So being more grounded and being discerning about the people that are coming at you, the more you allow yourself to have that authentic vibrational energy, the more authentic vibrations will be coming your direction too. Remember that every once in a while we need days where we stop thinking so much and allow ourselves to relax into the feelings. And Thursday is going to be one of those days. So if you have an office job, it might be a little bit more difficult to focus there. But Mercury will be square Uranus, so depending on what energy, I think it's just going to be more exhausting. The Mercury square Uranus, especially after this Jupiter sextile Uranus energy. But Mercury square Uranus gives us a spark, an insight, a lot of really great mental capacity and clarity. There may be some situations that change abruptly. This doesn't have to be a bad thing. Chances are these changes had already been in the works. They just needed a little nudge to get to where they needed to go. And on Friday, the 25th, that is the day where the moon will be in Sagittarius in the morning, but it will be void. And then we'll even have a void moon in Capricorn most of the day until it will make a sextile to the Pisces moon, which will actually be, really good to work creatively with, emotionally and creatively with. But during the day, you really may feel like you can't focus next Friday. It really may feel like it's a void moon all day long. It may really keep you unable to focus and any kind of responsibilities you have, or you may feel like the day is kind of dragging on and stuff like that. So, it's going to be a really interesting week. And honestly, wherever it is that your mental capacity is, that is going to help the emotional side too. If there are things that need to be healed, or if you are just not doing well in your mental space, this might be kind of a difficult week for you to get through. But I think generally everybody's going to feel really good. They're going to start seeing that things are going to be looking up. There's going to be this general feeling of well-being, and I just hope that kind of continues and things in the outside world can start to calm down a little bit. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I do have a pretty awesome reading for the remainder of February and into March. I think that I actually have the first week in March open now to schedule. I renovated the Soul's Journey reading. So I offered the Soul's Journey reading in 2018, the summer of 2018, and I haven't offered it since then. And this is more of an upgraded version, I guess, an evolved version of the Soul's Journey. So if you are wondering what it is that you should be focusing on or what it is that your soul would like for you to focus on right now when it comes to evolving yourself, this is a really good reading. It will be live. And it's only $75 for 30 minutes. So I'll put that in the description box for that. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thanks for hanging out with me. Be blessed. Bye.